A person of interest is in custody in the case of a missing 11-year-old Texas girl. Audrey Cunningham was last seen Thursday near her home in Livingston. Police say she never made it onto her school bus and an Amber Alert was issued. Investigators are now saying they've identified a 42-year-old man as, quote, one of the persons of interest involved in the disappearance. Investigators also believe the man's dark blue 2003 Chevy Suburban was involved. The man was arrested Friday by the Polk County Sheriff's Office on an unrelated charge of aggravated assault. Cunningham remains missing. Authorities with the case say a small children's backpack was found near Lake Livingston Dam, but no other information about the bag was given. An error in judging the location of a solar farm will cost Wharton County millions of dollars. The El Campo Leader News reports that a solar farm was wrongly calculated to be totally in Wharton County, but part of it is really in Matagorda County. The error will now cost Wharton County $483,000. The total impact to Wharton County could be over $2 million in lost revenue. Officials say El Campo ISD will lose $1.1 million. 5 people have filed to run for city council here in Victoria. Residents can run for any of the 4 regular city council seats in District 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 candidates have filed. Rafael de la Garza III is seeking re-election in District 1. Jan Scott seeking re-election in District 4. Attorney Stephen Kidder has filed to run in District 2. Business owner April Butler and UHV Administrator Woodrow Wilson Wagner II have filed to run in District 3. Election day is Saturday, May 4th. According to the latest Lundenberg report, the national average price of gas has risen in the past 2 weeks. Prices at the pump have increased by 12.6 cents per gallon to a price of nearly $3.37 for regular grade. Diesel grade gas has risen over the past 2 weeks as well, climbing to $4.21. According to the report, oil prices surged during the period, which caused product prices to rise. The report also found that further price hikes can expect since product prices have not yet matched oil surge. Next tonight, the first Sunday service at Houston Megachurch Lakewood Church after a deadly shooting there. Pastor Joel Osteen told parishioners today that today's services were a time for healing. Last Sunday, a woman opened fire during their afternoon services. She died on the scene. What we're learning tonight about the shooter.
Let's worship together.
Tonight, Lakewood Megachurch in Houston back open.
Fear is not going to win. Faith is going to win. We are going to move forward and see the goodness of God.
Resuming services a week after a shooter entered the facility with her 7-year-old son at her side, opening fire with an AR-15. The suspect, 36-year-old Genesee Moreno, killed in the exchange of gunfire. Her son shot in the head and still in critical condition. During today's service, Pastor Joel Osteen becoming emotional.
Lord, I pray for her family. Lord, I know she was troubled in her mind. And Lord, I know her family's hurting.
The Houston chief of police holding a press conference after the church service asking for prayers for the 7-year-old boy.
Little Samuel, 7-year-old innocent kid. Pray for him, pray for his family. You may never know the true motive.
It comes as we're learning more about the shooter's past. Our affiliate, KTRK, obtaining a series of 911 calls showing Moreno had a history of disturbances with her neighbors. In one incident, asking the dispatcher if she could draw a firearm.
And her husband wanted to come on my property. Is that okay if I go outside with my gun?
Houston police are still investigating why Moreno opened fire and why she may have specifically targeted Lakewood Church. Police will be releasing body camera footage within the next 30 days from the shooting. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, time to talk weather on this Sunday night. Let's check in with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining to see what your week will look like. Trey?
And it was a beautiful day today. Look at the sunny skies. This was earlier today, of course, obviously, with the cars going down 59 there. It was not a cloud in the sky. Thanks to high pressure for that. So good weather's going to continue, at least for the time being. 56 degrees was the daytime high today. Very chilly throughout the day. Low of 36 degrees. Some areas north of Victoria actually got to the freezing mark, about Cuero North, where it was the most likely areas, and that was the case. 70 and 48 are normal high and low. No rain in the forecast for us. Still continue with that for the time being. Could there be rain chances sometime in the next 7 days? We'll take a look coming up in your full weather.
Thanks, Trey. And a tragic story out of Minnesota where 2 police officers and 1 paramedic were killed earlier today in Burnsville, a suburb of Minneapolis, after they responded to a domestic call.
Tragedy unfolding early Sunday morning in Burnsville, Minnesota, 15 miles outside of Minneapolis. 2 police officers and 1 firefighter shot and killed.
I need that ambulance to 33rd Avenue, and I need 2 additional ambulances.
Authorities say officers Paul Elmstrand and Matthew Rudge, along with firefighter Adam Finseth, were killed after responding to a report of an armed man barricaded with family. Numerous law enforcement agencies later arriving on scene, including ATF agents. Authorities say the suspect also died. In a statement, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz writing, "We must never take for granted the bravery and sacrifices our police officers and first responders make every day." The governor also saying other officers were injured. First responders and medical personnel gathering as the bodies of the fallen officers and firefighter arrived at the hospital in Minneapolis, followed by a procession from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. The governor ordering flags to be flown at half-staff across the state on Monday to honor the fallen. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
The South Carolina hunting estate belonging to convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh has been sold. The Marcel home with more than 5,000 square feet and 21 acres in Colton County has been sold for $1 million. It was up for auction by J.P. King Auction Company and Crosby Land Company. The estate originally sold last year for $2.6 million, but those owners decided to sell the property. The identity of the out-of-state buyer has not been disclosed, but there are plans to develop it as a horse farm. The property became a crime scene when Murdaugh's wife and son, Maggie and Paul, were shot and killed there in 2021. Murdaugh was convicted of their murders and is now serving a life sentence. Grab your cell phones and scan this QR code. That's our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. Watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer polls. Learn all about our ongoing contests right there on the app, and you can submit news tips and photos. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up, Nike, in an effort to gain back $2 billion, will lay off 2% of its employees.
Again, from the north, obviously, down to South Texas, keeping our humidity levels low, sunny skies. But the winds turn around the south later on in the week, which will give us higher humidity. Does that mean rainfall will be in our forecast? We'll check that out later on in the full 7-day outlook.
President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail one day after being fined $355 million by a New York judge, finding that Trump exaggerated the value of his properties. Nikki Haley also on the trail in her home state with just 1 week until the South Carolina primary. Meanwhile, President Biden is calling on Congress to pass funding for Ukraine as the 2-year anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of the country approaches.
One day after being fined $355 million in his civil fraud case, former President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail in 2 battleground states Saturday. Trump's first stop at a sneaker convention in Philadelphia, facing some boos from the audience.
It's a slightly different audience than I'm used to, but I love this audience. We have to go out and vote. We got to get young people out to vote.
The former president then traveling to Michigan.
This November, the great state of Michigan is going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired.
His Republican rival, Nikki Haley, taking aim at the former president's legal troubles.
Then the campaign reports came out, and we saw that he spent $50 million of campaign contributions to his campaign on his personal court cases. Think about that.
But Haley is trailing 32 points behind Trump in her home state, with the South Carolina primary just a week away. Meanwhile, President Biden, in a call with President Zelensky, said Ukraine's withdrawal from the town of Avdiivka was tied to Congress's inability to pass further aid to help the country fight its war with Russia.
Look, the Ukrainian people have fought so bravely and heroically. They put so much on the line. And the idea that now, they're running out of ammunition, we walk away, I find it absurd.
The Senate already passed funding for Ukraine, but the House has left for a 2-week break without considering the bill.
Please, everyone, remember that dictators do not go on vacation.
Before sending aid overseas, House Republicans demand that the U.S. secure its own borders. Johnny Fernandez, ABC News, New York.
Nike has announced plans to cut 2% of its current workforce. The sneaker giant made the announcement on Thursday and will lay off more than 1,500 people as the company undergoes a broader restructuring. Nike's looking to save $2 billion over the next 3 years as part of a restructuring plan. The company said the layoffs will take place in 2 phases, with phase 1 starting this week and the second phase expected to be finished by the end of its fiscal 4th quarter. The job cuts come as Nike contends with a slowdown in consumer spending. More reaction this evening following the death of Alexei Navalny, the Russian opposition leader who was President Vladimir Putin's most formidable opponent, died Friday in a penal colony. Hundreds of people have been arrested across numerous Russian cities since his death, according to the Russian human rights group OVD. His group saying he was murdered, and Russian officials are refusing to release his body to cover their tracks.
2 days after Alexei Navalny died in a Russian prison colony, tributes continue to pour in. The Russian opposition leader's wife, Yulia Navalnaya, in her first Instagram post since his death, sharing a photo, writing simply, "I love you." The U.S. ambassador to Russia laying flowers at Solovetsky Stone in Moscow, a monument to victims of political repression, posting on social media, "Our hearts go out to his family, friends and supporters. His strength is an inspiration. We honor his memory." In St. Petersburg, unidentified people began removing makeshift memorials to Navalny, but the flowers were immediately replaced by supporters lining up to mourn his death. An independent Russian human rights group says hundreds of people have been arrested over the last couple of days. His death on Friday has drawn an international response, U.S. officials laying blame for his death with Vladimir Putin.
The death of Alexei Navalny yesterday was a reminder of the extraordinary brutality of Putin and his government.
Navalny's team says this wasn't a death. They believe he was murdered and that Russian authorities are covering it up, saying this is why they have not yet released his body to his family.
The body was taken by investigative committee and they are conducting some sort of investigations with him.
Navalny's mother and lawyer traveled to the remote prison colony in the Arctic on Saturday. They were told his body will be handed over once a post-mortem examination had been completed. Russian prison officials claim he died of sudden death syndrome. Lama Hassan, ABC News, London.
Here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Do you think Putin killed that Russian opposition leader, Alexei Navalny? Looks like overwhelmingly 97% say yes and 3% say no. Thanks for voting. Come to our website, crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Caroline Estrain will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise, and you can submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Beautiful day today. 56 degrees was the official high, low of 36 degrees, and no rain in our forecast. Could this be changing anytime soon? Well, we'll try to find that out coming up later on in the full forecast. Good evening and happy Sunday night. It's Trey Mining here. I hope you had a great weekend. It was pretty nice overall. The weather really cooperated. Definitely nice on the outside today. And looking at the wind speeds right now, beginning to calm down a little bit, especially in our western counties. That's going to be key to cause radiational cooling, causing temperatures to drop in the 30s again for tomorrow morning. So it's going to be quite nippy in the morning time, but nice during the daytime. Current temperature is the 50s, and they'll continue to fall. We work toward the overnight hours, of course, low 40s to the upper 30s around the entire region, especially from the Victoria area northward along Highway 59 to the northern parts of the Crossroads region. But your Monday's high will be in the 60s and even warmer than that. By the time we get to your Tuesday, 5 o'clock will be about 75 degrees and likely topping 80 coming up by Thursday or so before the next front moves on through. High pressure dominates the weather here, keeping us nice. Northerly winds keep the humidity at a very low level, of which we saw today, and we'll see that again for your day tomorrow on Monday. And high pressure moves slowly but surely to the east, allowing the wind flow around the high pressure cell to come around and coming back from the south by the time we get to your late in the day on your Monday and your Tuesday, causing the humidity increase around here. So as we go throughout the rest of the week, we'll have a more humid feel each and every day. But notice not seeing anything headed our way coming up from the west or the south to give us any rain chances. So pretty much status quo for weather here, increasingly more humid as we go toward the week, but no rain chances as I'm seeing at this point in time. And we're right in the middle of two storm systems, one on the east coast, one on the west coast. High pressure reaching in from the south into Texas, keeping those storms pretty much out of our picture here, keeping the good weather in for us. The storm out west coast tries to make its way in, but it's blocked by the high pressure ridge. So it eventually will go way up north and dive back to the south and southeast by the time we get to the middle part of the week in our week coming up. And high pressure, of course, which dominates our weather here, still going to continue to keep that ridge in place, giving us nice weather for us here. Increasingly more humid over time, but the weather's going to be very nice coming up for the next several days, so get out there and enjoy it. Future tracker, not seeing much on the outside. A few clouds from time to time, otherwise looking pretty nice. And so let's enjoy the week coming up. Victoria, By the time we get to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, 49 degrees, sunny skies all day long. Highs in the upper 60s to near 70 by 3 o'clock. And then for Cuero, about the same, sunny skies, highs near 70 by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And also in Port Lavaca throughout the day tomorrow, starting off in the early morning time in the low to mid 50s, and then 60s or so, 67 or so by 3 o'clock in the afternoon will be our daytime high. Looking at the 7-day outlook, President's Day tomorrow looks pretty nice, sunny skies throughout the entire period. A weak front moves on through coming up by Thursday evening, which will knock our temperatures down a little bit, nothing too dramatic. Highs in the 70s. Once again, they're 80 degrees again by your Sunday, and probably over 80 degrees by your Thursday. So the cool weather will be going away. Warm weather fans, it's your week coming up because we're really enjoying that. I'll be enjoying that definitely by Thursday. No rain expected. Sunny skies throughout the week. Get out there and enjoy it. And one way to keep in touch with us and what we have going on here is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code. You see right there, take your webpage. You can download our app. News, weather, and sports all at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, and free of charge. Make it a great evening.
Thank you, Trey. It is regional quarterfinals week in girls basketball, and I'll have those matchups coming up in sports. It's a new week. That means a brand new week of basketball season. And for the girls, we're going to the regional quarterfinal round. The Victoria East girls just got revenge on Veterans Memorial Brownsville, so now they're going to get Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Now, this was over 2 months ago, but the Lady Titans beat them 54-36 back on December 5th. The Lady Titans looking to go 4 rounds deep in the postseason. Now, the Cuero girls will take on Fredericksburg after their dominant win over the Bay City Black Cats. One common opponent the Cuero girls have with Fredericksburg, are the Navarro Panthers. Cuero beat them a few days ago, 45-27. Fredericksburg beat them recently on January 16th in a 49-36 victory. Could have an evenly matched battle on our hands if those scores indicate anything. The Hallettsville ladies still in the tournament. They get the always tough Cole Cougars. Cole actually played Tidehaven and won that game 52-40. When Hallettsville played Tidehaven, they won that game 75-45. Obviously, it doesn't mean much, but it could mean that they are also an evenly matched battle. And the Shiner ladies, well, they get the Thrall Tigers. Thrall just took it to the Bloomington girls, who had a great year. Shiner, they could have their work cut out for them, but they could also continue to dominate, going for win number 25 in a row. Out on the boys' side of things, the Faith Academy Cougars hosted a playoff game, and late in the fourth quarter, the boys hit a big three to cut their deficit to just 5 points. But every time the Cougars made a run, the visiting squad would have an answer. Now, the boys lost the game, and their season is over. But Coach Randy Reed thought maybe they would make this jump to the postseason in year 3. This was year 2, so it's safe to say they are ahead of schedule, not to mention they grew a lot this year. They lost to the same team by 40 the first time around, so they only lost by about 10 this time. Expect big things coming next year. Over at the Youth Sports Complex, the UHV softball girls take game one of their doubleheader now. In game number 2, the girls led up a first inning run but responded with a few of their own. However, they would drop game 2 by a final score of 5-4. This was just their first loss on the young season. They are still 5-1. They get another crack at it on the 23rd with another doubleheader against Southwest. The NBA All-Star game, or weekend rather, a little weak, but this is one of the highlights. Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu. She got 26 points. Steph Curry knew he had his work cut out for him. He caught fire at the end of his round and ended up with 29 points. By the way, she shot from the NBA three-point line, not the WNBA line, and she gave Steph a run for his money. Her 26 points tied Damian Lillard on the night. By the way, that would have been enough to win the actual NBA three-point contest, but Steph is the greatest shooter we've ever seen. What a battle between those two. Adam, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. Stay with us. Coming up, a new animal added to Oregon's endangered species list. Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus. A new animal's been added to Oregon's endangered species list. Southern resident orcas are now considered an endangered species in Oregon after a vote on Friday by the state's Fish and Wildlife Commission. 3 protection groups, the Center for Biological Diversity, Defenders of Wildlife, and Whale and Dolphin Conservation, lobbied for the protection of southern resident orcas. Those orcas were added to the federal endangered species list in 2005 and classified as endangered in both Canada and Washington state. Now they've been added to Oregon's list. Officials believe implementing a strong recovery plan will help to strengthen the southern resident orca population. We're going to turn it to weather real quick. One last look at the weather with Trey.
And take a look at the forecast for the rest of the week this week. Sunny skies all day long for the next several days. Week front on Thursday will cool us down a little bit. No rain in the forecast. Sunny skies, a few clouds from time to time. Highs in the 60s, 70s, and 80 degrees. Are topping that by Thursday especially. Low temperatures in the 50s and 60s throughout the entire forecast period as well. Get out there and enjoy the sunshine and make it a great day.
So that shooting contest, Steph reigned supreme then?
I mean, he's the greatest shooter of all time. So, I mean, I thought it was impressive, though. I mean, she shot from the NBA three-point line that actually tied Damian Lillard. It would have been, it would have been enough to actually win the NBA three-point shootout. Now, whenever I used to ball with Gino Perez, the old sports director, we used to have three-point contests.
Okay.
I would get like 4 points. He would get like 6. We were terrible. That's why we're on this side of the microphone and not actually playing. But it was always good times out there with Gino. Miss him out in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Doing good stuff over there.
Well, I can't even make any of them, so I will watch you guys.
Well, we go to the Youth Sports Complex and hoop sometime. I got a brand new basketball, like $4 from Walmart. It's not a good one, but
yeah. Wait, we'll see. I bet Zach will win. Well, thank you all for watching us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and have a great week. That's